Did you know that Christopher Columbus used a lunar eclipse to save his life? Well, if not, you're going to find out today. So let's get started. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Virtual History 360. I'm Mr. Wade, and today we are talking about Columbus Day. This year it falls on October 11th, which is the second Monday of October. Now, don't worry if you're watching this on any other day, the information is still going to be valid. Now, what about that lunar eclipse I mentioned? Well, I'm going to save that story until the end, so be sure to stick around. But we're going to begin with the history itself. You see, there have been controversies connected to the holiday since the beginning, and we're going to discuss them. But we should go back and tell the history first, don't you think? You see, starting with Columbus himself. Christopher Columbus was an Italian-born explorer who set sail in August of 1492. His goal was to reach Asia, and he did this with funding from King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain. For the voyage, he sailed with 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Columbus intended to find a western sea route to China, India, and the fabled Gold and Spice Islands of Asia. Instead, on October 12, 1492, he landed in the Bahamas, becoming the first European to explore the Americas since the Vikings established colonies in Greenland and Newfoundland during the 10th century. Now, we don't know where exactly he landed. You see, there are several islands that lay claim to be the spot, but in reality, he wasn't there long enough to leave any evidence. So the world will never know. Moving on though. Later that October, Columbus sighted Cuba and believed it was mainland China. In December, the expedition found Hispaniola, which he thought might be Japan. There, he established Spain's first colony in the Americas with 39 of his men. Moving into March of 1493, Columbus returned to Spain in triumph, bearing gold, spices, and quote-unquote Indian captives. It wasn't until his third journey that Columbus finally realized that he hadn't reached Asia, but instead had stumbled upon a continent previously unknown to most Europeans. Now, let's fast forward to the United States. You see, the first Columbus Day celebration actually took place in 1792, when New York's Columbian Order, better known as Tammany Hall, held an event to commemorate the historic landing's 300th anniversary. Taking pride in Columbus's birthplace and faith, Italian and Catholic communities in various parts of the country began organizing annual religious ceremonies and parades in his honor. In 1892, President Benjamin Harrison issued a proclamation encouraging Americans to mark the 400th anniversary of Columbus's voyage with patriotic festivities, writing on that day that the people, so far as possible, cease from toil and devote themselves to such exercises as may best express honor to the discoverer and their appreciation of the greatest achievements of the 4 completed centuries of American life. Very boastful, right? In 1937, President Franklin D. Roosevelt proclaimed Columbus Day a national holiday, largely as a result of intense lobbying by the Knights of Columbus, an influential Catholic fraternal organization. Columbus Day is observed on the second Monday of October. While Columbus Day is a federal government holiday, meaning all federal offices, banks, stuff like that, are closed, not all states grant it as a day off from work. Now, controversy over Columbus Day dates back to the 19th century when anti-immigrant groups in the United States rejected the holiday because of its association with Catholicism. Now, in recent decades, Native Americans and other groups have protested the celebration of an event that resulted in the colonization of the Americas, the beginnings of the transatlantic slave trade, and the deaths of millions from murder and disease. European settlers brought a host of infectious diseases, including smallpox and influenza, that decimated indigenous populations. Warfare between Native Americans and European colonists claimed many lives as well. So the image of Christopher Columbus as an intrepid hero has also been called into question. You see, upon arriving in the Bahamas, the explorer and his men forced the native peoples they found there into slavery. Later, while serving as the governor of Hispaniola, he allegedly imposed barbaric forms of punishment, including torture. Back to the United States itself, though, several U.S. cities and states have replaced Columbus Day with alternative days of remembrance. States including Alaska, Hawaii, and Oregon commemorate Indigenous Peoples Day, as well as cities like Denver, Phoenix, and Los Angeles. Columbus Day was originally observed every October 12th, but was changed to the second Monday in October beginning in 1971. And that's why we're talking about this in school around this time. Now, for the eclipse story. In 1502, on his fourth voyage, after spending 8 months exploring the coasts of Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Columbus beached in Jamaica at the end of June 1503. There, he and his men were stranded for 1 year. Since the governor of Hispaniola was not a fan of Columbus, he stopped any efforts to rescue him. Well, at first, the natives were hospitable to Columbus, but his sailors stole from and cheated the natives. Finally, after 6 months, the natives stopped their food supply to Columbus and his men. Columbus did have one last trick up his sleeve, though. You see, he had an astronomy almanac by Abraham Zacuto. He noticed that there was a lunar eclipse coming up on February 29, 1504. He met with the tribal leaders and told him that his God was angry with the natives' treatment of Columbus. He said his God would put clear sign of his anger in the sky by making the full moon appear inflamed with wrath. His trick worked. When the natives saw the eclipse on that schedule, or saw it right on time, just as Columbus predicted, they ran from all directions to Columbus's ships with fresh provisions, begging him to pray to his God for protection. Columbus went to the cabin of his ship to pray, timing the eclipse with his hourglass. Totality, which is the period of time when the moon is completely engulfed and the earth's shadow was about to end. So Columbus emerged from his cabin and told them God has forgiven them. Just then, the moon started to reappear and the natives were grateful. They continued to care for his men for several more months until he was finally rescued. Now, what do you think about that story? What about in school for Columbus Day itself? What are your teachers doing to celebrate Columbus Day? Are they doing anything? Tell me in the comments below. Or if you're not doing anything, tell me as well. While you're there, go ahead and hit that like button for me. You know I love the engagement. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. If that button is red, let's turn it gray. And be sure to check out my other videos like the ones you see over to the side here. I have other history videos like this. I have US, world. I also have civics videos, like government videos. And then I have videos that are shot in 360 that you can look all the way around. So be sure to check them out because I know you're going to like them. For Virtual History 360, I'm Mr. Wade. I'll see you next time.